Operation status quo. Operation status quo. Prepare to engage. Operation status quo. Ready to engage. Operation status quo. Engaged. Engaged. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, here to Operation Status Quo on a special weekend broadcast. Oh my goodness. I do not normally come on the weekends. Generally, the show is during the week, but I will say that this week was a little bit busy for me. I wound up actually only doing 2 shows. When I look back, I realized, Monday I had a little bit, not to go to recap through the whole week, but, Monday I had a little bit of a computer issue, which kind of held things up. I had my show Tuesday, Wednesday. Then I got involved with some business-related matters Thursday and Friday, which kind of kept me from doing my normal spiel, as it were. So here I am. I decided to say, let me pop in on a Sunday, because who knows moving forward with this crazy world, how we're moving forward and doing things, what's going to transpire exactly. So anyway, I thought, let me take the time here on a Sunday, and it's nice to be here on a Sunday, actually, for you, the beautiful people out there. Hello, I am Pete Palma. If you are not familiar with who I am, that is who I am, at least in this incarnation at this particular moment in time. This is Operation Status Quo, where we observe the status quo of life. We learn to flow with the status quo of life, and then, of course, we create our own flow of quo, because that's the only way to go, right? I mean, you see what's going on out there. Do you really want to flow with somebody else's quo? You know what I'm saying? Especially the quo. The quo that they're giving us is it's like a snow. It's quo snow. It's like a snow job. You never say the snow job, but it's like it's snow quo. I don't know what I'm talking about. Hold on. I apologize because I got to get my brain in order. Heyo. But seriously, today is the 16th of July, the good year 2023. Today's program is entitled The Search for Silence, ladies and gentlemen, because, I have, of course, here, as you know, on Operation Status Quo, the first and foremost, it's just a space where we can talk about what's going on in the world. We can just kind of observe things that are happening out there. We don't have to get all worked up and excited and overly opinionated, as it were. No matter what, we're all going to have our opinions. I say this all the time. It is what it is with all that, because it's just part of the egoic nature of our, human essence, right? But at the same time, we have to remember when we have our opinions and our thoughts and everything else that goes along with it, to keep space for that stuff, and just to realize that in any capacity, the more seriously we take things that are going on in the world, the more we attach, I would say, to certain ideas or whatever the case may be, that's giving credence to the dream that this life is real, right? So we are here, in a sense, of course, energetic vibrations, but we are here to, learn lessons and progress our soul growth and all that type of stuff. And of course, in conjunction with that, because everything is a balance, there are powers that be within the realm of our existence here that do not want us to be aware of our potential and our growth, and or want to see us grow in a capacity. They want us to remain suppressed in a certain type of way because it's beneficial to those powers that be that know the higher truths to keep us from knowing the higher truths. If you think about it, even back through history, right? How only certain people were educated, right? Back in the time, our days are different now. We have schools, public schools. Well, not that the public schools are educating anybody, but of course, what I'm saying is there's the idea, or at least, they try to facilitate some sort of belief that there's equal education for everyone, when in reality there's not, never really had been, but at least there's, some kind of, people think they're getting educated now. But back in certain times, only certain people were, taught to read and write and all that. And then even if you want to go back to stuff like when women weren't allowed to vote and everything like that, right? All these kind of things were always ways of trying to keep a certain level of suppression and people kind of away from higher truths and such. And by the way, if you're out there with me today on a Sunday, feel free to drop some comments down in the chat and, engage in the conversation with me. I would love to speak with you and, let you know what's on your mind out there, because that's what I'm here to do. But today's episode, the search for silence, in reality, ladies and gentlemen, is because, when you think about how our, world is on a day-to-day basis, and how much keeps us from that silence, right? A good example of this is It's the main reason why I go every day when I go do like my walk, or if I go to the pool and go for a swim, or any of those type of things. Those are mindful moments for me to leave my cell phone behind. I don't take any kind of earbuds, technology of any type, because I want to just connect with the world and what's around me and not be, kind of distracted, right? So, but there's a lot that goes on that keeps us distracted. And unfortunately, with the way technology has progressed, I mean, technology is great, obviously, right? The phones and everything we have to make life a lot easier in certain regard. But at the same time, they're also a tool to keep us, again, the word distracted, away from our better selves, in a sense, especially now in today's climate, or the way the world is going, with all the different aspects of geopolitical and economic and all the way down the line, with all that stuff going on. It's I mean, I always consider a lot of that stuff like psyops, but they're able to use the technology to keep people trapped in this loop, this repetitive loop of just whatever nonsense, and it makes it harder to break free, in a sense, and find that space of silence. I mean, I don't know. I would just like to recommend to people, like, if you're out there, right? I mean, like, think for yourself, or say it to yourself. What is in your day to day? How much time do you take like away from all that stuff? Like, really, just maybe sitting with a few breaths, or I'm not trying to get all super deep of you have to be heavy meditation or whatever, which would be a good thing if you did, but at the same time, how much time do we take, each of us individually, to give a little bit of space, to just be with breath, to just kind of shut things off and just kind of listen internally. And what I would ask as a follow-up question, if you do take time to do that type of stuff during your day, how do you feel when you do it, and what differences do you notice when you're away from being wrapped up in that sort of thought process and the technology, as compared to when you're away from it? I know for myself, a good example, one of the reasons I've been busy this week and last week, and I missed some shows last week, is I've mentioned it here before, that I do real estate in Florida. So don't forget, if you want to have a beautiful space down here, give me a call. Be happy to help you out. Contact information in the description box below. But seriously, I got involved with a couple clients this week, and it's kind of took my attention in another way. And it's one of the things that sparked this line of conversation to me, is because, once you start get involved in that path, right? Then, the phone calls are coming in. Then you're checking your phone to make sure you got back to somebody, or you're getting another email, or you got to, go on this site and that site and check this out and check that out, which is fine. I mean, it's all part, this is like, hey, everybody has jobs and stuff, and they're involved with things. But I just trying to say, like, it was interesting to me because I noticed how, speedy I felt in my brain over those like Thursday and Friday, because I was kind of jumping from this to that and double checking this and double checking that, and, making sure I got back to people, and just the different stuff that went on. And it made me realize, like, by the end of the day, whichever day it was, I think it was more so Thursday. Like, by the end of the day, I noticed, like, my brain was like, I felt like, because I was still checking on things. And when I finally sat down and kind of relaxed in the evening, my brain was so speedy. I was just like, I'm like, damn, like, and, we don't think about that every day, right? Like, we're involved with the technology, or, we're doing what we're doing, even stuff like video games. I don't want to make it too broad, but I'm just kind of saying everything, even stuff like, with video games. If you sit there all day, just playing, it's like your brain just kind of like gets fried, and you don't even realize that, what it's doing subconsciously, and what's happening. And it's really amazing, right? So that's what made me kind of think, like, the search, for silence, and I believe everything's a balance in life, okay? And just going back to what I said at the very beginning here, that this life is what it is. It's a space of learning and growth. If we were all just in the oneness and the silence and the perfection, or whatever you want to say, then there would be no point for this existence, right? Because we would just all be there going, Om, and that would be it. We would just be chilling, and there'd be no reason for physical manifestation. But the physical manifestation is a part for, maybe we don't fully understand it in this, current human incarnation form, whatever, that we're embodied now, but we still realize that there is, we are connected to, a higher source. And and a simple type of terms of, just kind of looking at it, I feel our existence in this life is always really just a trying to get back to where we really came from. And I guess all the lessons that come through our physical life along the way are always little nudges to push us to, kind of come back to the source and the oneness, and trust in our purpose, as it were, trust in, well, I wouldn't say trust in our purpose. I mean, I'm saying trust in our purpose, but I mean, the purpose is to, to go back to the oneness always, right? So anything that's happened in your life, whether it's good or bad, is always kind of trying to give you a space to remind you of tuning in and going with the flow. The more you can give space and kind of tune in to just like the vibes of life, life goes a lot easier that way than when you're always trying to, fix things, struggle after things, and I noticed that myself. I think, when certain things go on, I'm like, okay, let me take a second here, and think about this. Cause like, I notice if I try too much to, if I think a certain situation should be a certain way or whatever, then I start to try to like, okay, well, not say manipulate it, but like, okay, well, I got to make sure this take care of it. And we always got to take care of what we got to take care of. But what I'm saying is it's all about doing things like with kind of like a flow, like not forcing. There's a big difference between trying to force things to happen or doing things out of fear, or as opposed to kind of just this kind of feels right, and I trust in the higher powers, and if I just kind of do what my part is that resonates with me, the other parts will be taken care of. I mean, that's one of the good examples is, again, going back to what I was just saying about even working with the real estate. I've mentioned this many times that it was kind of, I won't say difficult, but part of my belief system did make it almost a difficult kind of venture to get into, because I just always looked at everything as like too salesy, and you don't want to chase people, and people are going to get mad at you, because you're trying to get them to buy a house or something, and I wouldn't even say I'm trying to get somebody to. That's the whole point of what I'm saying. Like, the reason I do what I do the way I'm trying to do it is I'm not trying to get anybody to do anything. I've come to realize, people are going to do what they going to do either way, right? Like, I could take somebody to show a house and the walls could be falling down and say, well, I don't think this is the best one, but if they decide they're going to buy it, like, they're going to buy it. I can give my thoughts, I can offer my concerns or suggestions, but at the end of the day, it's always somebody's decision. So I feel as long as I move forward with integrity in that regard, and always make sure people are well informed, and I said my piece, and then they can do whatever they want to do. And I feel that's really how we should do everything in our lives. Like, if we lived our lives each day with that, instead of worrying about the outcome, instead of feeling we have to, there has to be a certain outcome, like, or what we perceive should be. I mean, think about how many times in your life of things that you thought should be this way or that way, and they went a different way, but turned out better. Or I mean, you can go millions of examples, right? I mean, just something as simple as you got fired from a job, or your spouse left you, or something like that. And those kind of things would seem so horrible, and put you in a space of kind of fear and what am I going to do next? And maybe that spouse leaving you put you in a space where you met another person that you get along with so much better, and you realize, wow, that person did me a favor. Or the same thing with the job, oh, I lost this job or whatever, and I thought I needed this forever to make sure my bills were paid, but having the space away from something that didn't resonate with what was right for me actually put me in a space to better connect with what is right for me, and now I'm prospering more, right? So I don't even mean that in the way of, exact monetary, like, maybe you make less money at the other job, or maybe you do make more, whatever the case. But if you're happier and it's vibing with you, and your day flows because of it, then it makes a lot more sense, right? So, we become grateful. And I think that's a really important aspect for all of us to remember, especially as things have been progressing over the past number of months, years, whatever you want to say. I do believe, gratitude is really important, because it's hard sometimes in everyday life to be grateful. We're always thinking of what we don't have, or what's coming next, or, and all that. Oh, how many times most people pray to God when something goes bad, right? Like, oh God, please don't let that happen. Oh God, please, I'm so sorry. Oh God, oh God, oh God. And, but where's God when you're having a good day? You're out, you're having a good time. Hey God, Thanks. I appreciate this great time I'm having today.
Heyo.
I try to, do that a little bit each day of like, even like, again, going back to when I was talking about going for my walks or whatever, go for a walk. And I like to be able to, when I thank God for, oh, look, I just saw this beautiful bird or whatever I saw. And, and I just try to remember that, it's all source and oneness and, and being grateful. I mean, if we can just really be grateful, I mean, it's easy to think about things, could be better or this or what based on our ego and what we as an, personality and individual think equates to our happiness. But I'm sure, I don't have to speak for you, that you have realized over your own life, many occasions that what you thought would bring you happiness, ultimately, how many things have you done in your life that you thought you were working towards to bring happiness? And no matter what age you are, you realize there's still something that's, not right, or you don't feel fulfilled because ultimately the only true fulfillment is the connection to source. And that's exactly like, what Operation Status Quo is about. That's really, why I come on and do this show is because I just want to try to offer that type of thought process in hopes that it would help somebody, right? That, just to realize I don't have to put so much pressure on myself. I don't have to, I posted something on my Facebook actually yesterday, and it was a long quote from Eckhart Tolle, and it was just kind of talking about, and it's true, and I think about this all the time too, think about how we talk about freedom and wanting our freedom and all this stuff, but what really is freedom? Like, when you think about animals or even a tree or something, a tree's not sitting there all day going, oh man, my branch is crooked over here. I probably look ugly to other trees, or worrying about, excuse me. That new tree is growing over there. I don't like that tree. It's going to take water from my root system. Nothing, nature, animals, trees, rocks, none of these things are thinking that way. And that's really what a beautiful concept in a sense, right? To me, because I feel, at the end of it, everything is all one. There, it's all energy. We have this consciousness and this ability to be analytical and, and think of things. So we think we're all this, but we're only within that little box of what we think we're thinking. And, what makes that, and maybe a tree is actually able to have a greater expansion of consciousness than we have as a human entity, right? Because I do find that the human side of us is, sometimes it's a more of a limiting part because we're always so focused on those aspects of, we have to keep up an image, we have to look good. Our society, think about our society, and I really always feel badly for, the ladies. I know there's a lot of guys that do all this kind of stuff now too, but between the Botox and the collagen in the lips and, ass implants and, I don't know, leg extensions. I don't know. What do people do? I said the ass implants. It's so much, right? Of trying to put on an image and be, and the way our culture is designed to make us almost ashamed or feel bad about ourselves for getting old. You look at yourself in the mirror and start seeing some wrinkles as you get older and your body change, and you start feeling depressed or not valid anymore, not good anymore. And this goes back again to the beginning of kind of what I was saying, of how the powers that be out there that know higher truths want to keep us in this type of suppression. Think about what they put out there. Again, we have all this technology and the ability to communicate and do so many things. And, it's kind of utilized in a sense to always push some agenda or idea on you. Another good example is I was watching on my phone while I was doing some stuff around before I did this. I had YouTube on and I'm watching some of the videos I like to watch on YouTube, some of the people I like to watch. And, unfortunately, the commercials are relentless. So they just keep popping every 2-3 minutes. I got to skip an ad. And then sometimes you can't skip an ad. Now it used to only be one ad. Now it's 2 ads every time. And it's just I got ticked off, to be honest. I said, you know what? F this. I'm not watching anything. I went back to silence. I said, it's just, I can't take it. So, and that's what I'm saying. We have this beautiful technology that is very useful, but it's kind of manipulated in a way that, suppresses, higher thought processes that we could be utilizing. So, and always keeping us in a space of judging ourselves, judging others, and like I said, making people feel badly about whatever, whether they're overweight, whether they're getting old, whether they're bald, whether they wear glasses, bald and glasses. I don't know. I mean, I'm starting to feel pretty bad about myself now that I think about it. Oh, no.
Heyo.
But seriously, so, I mean, that's what we're talking about here today. That's what it's all about here on Operation Status Quo. It's just about offering perspectives and thoughts to say, give yourself the space, give yourself a break. The world's out there, it's going to keep doing what it's doing, right? It's not going to stop. So the only thing you can control, that each and every one of us as individuals that we can control, is our reaction to our surroundings, right? And our ability to be responsible for our thoughts and our actions. So, and I've said this many times as well, I find it to be very important to be responsible for your thoughts and stuff, especially, your thoughts, because, words have power. They are energetic vibrations. If you tell yourself something, that's what you're telling yourself. And that's, the universe doesn't know one way or the other. You say such and such, and that's what the universe is going to, bring to you. And I notice it myself. I'm just saying, I'm an example for of myself, because when I have moments of when I start to complain or something happens, and whatever, I start to get a little, and I got to remind myself, like, listen, if I'm feeding into that energy of saying this is what's happening, and this is happening to me, or I'm getting mad, or then I'm putting that out, and it's not going to help the situation in any way whatsoever. So, I would just like to encourage everyone here on a Sunday. A Sunday is a perfect day, a day of rest and peace, so take the time, during the day, every day, start however it is for you to start. I mean, if you're already in that groove and you're doing a lot of that, that's great. But wherever you are, if you can take the time to just, shut stuff off, just be with silence a little bit and just breathe, and don't even try to think of like what you have to think of. I mean, that's really the key. Like, you don't have to think of anything. Just kind of be, and you'd be surprised. Like, the universe starts talking to you. I mean, I'm just speaking from my own experience. And again, I've talked about this before as well. It's just different things I've done in my life. I see how things have flowed. A great example was my trip to Bali, Indonesia back in 2019. It was, for me, it was a big deal to take that trip on my own, because I had never traveled like that in that capacity before in my life. So, I mean, that's just, for me, that was my journey, and everything worked out. I had 3 flights to get there, 3 flights to get home. I had to ahead of time call before I, left, at what time I was going to land, so the people from the hotel would be at the airport to pick me up. And I don't know, I'm in some other country with, people speaking different languages and everything else. But, truthfully, it all just worked out, because, I just offered it up to the universe to be like, listen, I'm going on this trip. This is my itinerary, and, I'm just going to see how it goes. And, if you approach things that way, not everything's always going to work out. But again, all I'm saying is, the harder we try as individuals to make things happen or fit things into the image of what we feel they should be, I think that creates a lot more resistance and hardships in our lives, as opposed to just going with the flow and being aware, being grateful, all those things I'm saying, and it makes a big difference in your life. So the search for silence here on Operation Status Quo. I hope you can find some silence. It's obviously, we're not going to do away with technology and just be monks all over the place, but we have to keep it in its space as well, right? We have to limit ourselves to the exposure of certain things. I would definitely recommend, a lot of the, I sound like a broken record with some of this, with the mainstream stuff, and I don't mean it to be so negative if it sounds negative, but, they're feeding us a lot of crap and causing a lot of fear, and a lot of these problems in the world could be solved, like, pretty quickly, because humanity at its heart is not looking to fight with each other, right? People just want to have a nice day and have something to eat and play with their kids or whatever, throw a ball to their dog. It's not that complicated. So, but they know what they're doing, and those that want to keep us in a different frame of mind. So it's up to us to be responsible for that, and we are the creators. So if you take the time to live in a way that presents that, you're going to create that. And if we shut off, what's being kind of forced down our throats and step away from it and live from our hearts, that's the world we'll create. We don't have to be involved because everything is malleable, in this physical paradigm. And we're the creators, we're manifestors. So what we put out is what we create. So go be what you want to be, and that is what the life, that you'll have. So, yep, that's about it here for today on Operation Status Quo. And I encourage you guys to, take a little time to be with your breath and enjoy your day and smile at the birds as they fly by. Maybe, check out a dragonfly. I see a lot of dragonflies. They're really cool. They always kind of follow me around when I'm out for my walk and all that. So that's very nice. Very, very nice. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please, if you haven't done so already, it would be wonderful if you would like, subscribe, share, send this out to all your friends, your family, those you love, and of course, those you despise as well. You're welcome here on the program anytime. So if you'd like to participate, feel free to contact me. My contact information is in the description box below. And if not, you can send me some information. Maybe you have topic ideas you'd like for me to discuss. I'd be happy to do that as well. So don't be shy, because I'm not shy, and it'd be great to have two not shy people speaking together. All right, seriously. I love you guys out there individually as well as a group. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you so much again for your time. And, we'll see how it goes. I'm not giving up on this show. I noticed my schedule's been kind of changing a little bit, and that's fine, because that's just the ebbs and flow of life. So if I miss a day here or there, don't get alarmed. If I was ever going to really go away completely, I'd probably come on and do a video and say, but I do really like this channel, and I like trying to share the messages that I'm trying to share, because it really comes from a space of just wanting to help people to feel good and, be relaxed a little bit and not put so much pressure on themselves, because, it's just too much pressure out there, and we don't need it. Aren't we tired of all the pressure on ourselves all the time? Right? All right. Anyway, so that's it for me, ladies and gentlemen, until possibly tomorrow. I think tomorrow. I'm going to say tomorrow, but we never know how it goes. But until then, Operation Status Quo disengaged.